Yeah. So one thing I wanted to ask you about is Ermes Gasparini, and the reason I bring that up is because he messages me consistently, wanting anything that I can do to get him out here to face you again. He feels robbed. He feels ripped off. He's
Good.
actually very angry
Fucking good.
about that match. So I wanted to just to have you speak on that a bit to this audience, to how you feel about that match, and of course what happened in the after poll where he thinks that meant something.
Okay, I want to jump in on this when Matt's done answering it, so don't go to part 2 until I get an opportunity to do that.
All right.
Go ahead, Matt.
So you want me to go first, or
Yeah, you go.
You go first.
Question is to you, man.
Okay. I don't know if you watched my video I did the other day with Australian arm wrestler. I go into pretty much, I explained what I think of the guy. As a person, as an athlete, he's a phenomenal athlete. As for match, he didn't come in prepared. He came in thinking WIF, I got the best top roll in the world, and I'm just going to spank his ass. He had a rude awakening when he came into WL. WL is not WAF. It's the difference between a referee jiu-jitsu fight and a street fight. Many think it's not fair. It's not fair. It doesn't matter what kind of grip you're doing, whether it's WAF or WL. Somebody's either settling or somebody's fighting for that better position. WAF, it's usually somebody settling for a position. Both guys aren't 100% comfortable in the grip. WAF, WAL, there is no perfectly straight the whole 9 yards. Your wrists are straight, your shoulders are square, whatnot. But you're fighting for the position throughout the whole setup. He came in, didn't have a fucking clue what he was doing. First match, obviously leading up to it, I was shaking his hand throughout the day. Hutchins came up to me, asked me, he was like, "Oh, have you seen Gasparini?" Yeah, I met him earlier. He's like, "Oh, did you shake his hand?" And his hand literally felt like I was shaking a 5-year-old girl's. Usually you can shake an arm wrestler's hand, and you're like, "Oh, okay, this is what I'm going to be in for." And it threw me off for the first couple of days because it literally every time I seen him, I'd shake his hand. It was like grabbing a limp little noodle. We gripped up. We set up match number 1, slipped out. Couldn't really tell much off of him from there just because it is such a quick grip. As soon as we went into the straps, thumbs down, we closed our hands. I realized he actually was the real deal. I was going in thinking I'm going to fucking destroy this guy just by shaking his hand. It felt like there was absolutely nothing there. After that, I just played the WL game. He set up, he was fighting for his position, and I just cock blocked him throughout the whole situation. Ended up completely making him look like a fucking fool. And then it wasn't intentional. It was just how it happens, right? Like when I'm up there and I get my adrenaline going, I'm not really thinking about what I'm doing. Usually after the match is over, I'll calm down and everything will kind of start flashing back in my mind on what I did and how I acted. And usually I'll go and apologize to the person after. We went into the back room and he's like, "Oh, hey man, I want to grab on you." Everything was starting to kind of come back to me. What's going on? We gripped up, and anybody that has ever trained with me, practiced with me, anything on after pole tables, I don't care. Like it means absolutely nothing. Like I have 185 pounders that come and train with us and Jeff sees on a regular basis that put my arm down. It means nothing. Like it, and I don't know about over where he comes from, but apparently that means more than a match that's televised and refereed and everything else, because instantly he started posting. I didn't even know that that's what his intentions were. That's what he was doing. Or I probably would have gave a little more on the after table, but it was more about building his ego up at that time because I felt I kind of did destroy a little bit of his ego. And it was just a matter of, hey, oh, you feel so good. Oh, you feel so strong. Not realizing that either his girlfriend he had with him or his little pocket pal that came with him on the plane was videotaping it, and then he posted a video after, and everything just kind of went off from there. As far as I'm concerned, about a rematch with him, yeah, I'd like to give him a rematch because I'd just like to do it again to him. But another part of me is like just how he acted, how he treated it, how he tried to deflect his loss for his lack of preparation against being fucked by the ref and being fucked by me on the table. I'm almost thinking like this is something that gets eating him inside on how bad he wants to prove himself. I want to let him fucking sit on it for a bit, you know?
Yeah, there's no question.
And if you want to pull again, you know what? Give me 10 grand fucking guarantee fucking cash, and then I'll really make you look like a fucking fool, you know? So as, I don't know, as far as an athlete, yeah, he is an athlete. Off the table, as far as I'm concerned, he's a child. So that's my opinion on it. So, and if you watch the Aussie arm wrestling video I did, it's kind of somewhat the same story as what I told him. So, except it wasn't so early in the morning and I was in a little better mood.
I like you in a bad mood better.
Yeah, there's no question that match eats at him just by the messages he sends me, and he guarantees in a different style, obviously a WAP style setup, that's an easy match for him to win. I personally think it's an embarrassment on his part to quantify or to take any merit off an after pull. And post that as a measuring tool against you. I think that's an embarrassment on his part, and he should have been a little bit more humble, but. Anyways,
here's my thing. I agree with everything the Matt just said. And yeah, the guy was not prepared. And for him to say that, the after pull this, the after pull that, after pulls are the worst thing that you can. I pull 17 guys in a row at an after pull. 18th guy comes up, beats me. His buddy pulls out a cell phone and films it. It's not the same thing. It's not in the heat of the moment. It's not refereed. You're usually giving up so much just to train a little bit. I hate it. Every guy I train with beats me on the practice table because we're training. But in the after pulls, it's absolute bullshit. And the one thing I want to weigh in on is he's asking for a rematch. That was such a dominant performance as far as dominating the setup. He doesn't deserve a rematch at this point. I like Ermes. He's a good guy, but God damn it. Earn your way back. Like, you don't get knocked out and get a rematch with the champ.
Exactly.
You got to go back through the ranks and beat some people and actually prove yourself in the World Arm Wrestling League. Give him somebody that's, lower tier and see what he can do with them. Even match him up better stylistically. Like, what do you think about an Ermes Gasparini Marcio Barboza match, Matt?
I've heard of that one floating around as well, possibly. So it's funny because that's who was initially supposed to pull Ermes, and Marcio ended up injuring his bicep in his previous match. I think he had pulled Michael Todd or something like that.
Yeah.
And they ended up asking me, I don't think Marcio's going to make it for this one. Would you consider pulling Ermes? And I was like, who the fuck is Ermes Gasparini? And they said, it's your next match. I says, they'll sign me the fuck up then. Right?
And then you got to Google him and find out what's he do. But
yeah.